Hello, welcome to True Crime Lounge. This is the YouTube to my podcast. You can find me on Instagram, social media. Well, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is what I meant to say, but somehow social media came out. Anyway, I do have a merch shop that you can go check out. Um, Now that we got that out of the way, why don't we drive our drink of choice and dive into the True Crime Lounge? Today we're going to be continuing on with our Killer Couple series. Um, Hmm. What do y'all think? A couple that kills together stays together? That would be a fun t-shirt saying. Anyway, I should definitely add that to my merch shop. Y'all should definitely go check out as well. I know it's been a minute since I posted something, and I do apologize. I've been really busy with school work, and I recently moved into an apartment a couple of months ago, and I've been really focusing on getting the podcast growing. Because eventually I do want to rebrand as a podcast as well. But you can also go check that out on YouTube and Spotify for any episodes. Season 2 of that podcast will come out October 10th. And that would be an new episode for the next 10 Tuesdays. Alright, so why don't we jump into our first video? So, we're going to start off with Catherine and David Burney, aka the Morehouse Killers. In 1985, Catherine Burney, her maiden name McLaughlin. Wonder if she's any relation to Lori Loughlin. Anyway, scratch that. It's McLaughlin. Laughlin, so forget I said that. Left her husband and 7 children to reunite with her childhood sweetheart, David Burney, so the two of them could live out their deprived sexual fantasies. Over the span of 5 weeks, the couple abducted, raped, and murdered 4 women. The fifth escaped before she would become Bernie's fifth murder victim. All these occurred between the ages of 15 to 31. The couple was found guilty and sentenced to 4 life sentences. However, David Burney hung himself in a cell nearly 20 years after his sentencing. Catherine, Catherine is still in prison. Next on our list, we have Martha Beck and Raymond Fernandez, aka the Lonely Heart Killers. So, this would be in 1947, with con man Raymond Fernandez responding to Martha Beck's Lonely Hearts ad in the paper. After realizing she wasn't rich as he surmised, he left her. However, Beck still pursued Fernandez in, in 1948. He finally told her that he was a con man, swindled women out of their money, but instead of running away, Beck asked her to become his accomplice. The two went on to swindle and kill 17 women over the next year under the disguise as brother and sister. Oh my goodness, Cold Case did an episode similar to this. Okay, yes. But they changed it to the form of like a video dating thing. Anyway, Beck and Fernandez were found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to death via electric chair. They both died in 1951. Next on our list, we have Gwendolyn Graham and Kathy Wood, aka the Lethal Lovers. In 1987, Gwendolyn Graham and Kathy Wood, who were married to who was married to a man at the time, were nurses' aides in Michigan and killed 5 of their elderly patients from the nursing home. According to Wood, Graham would kill the patients and then have sex with her as a way to relieve the tension. in exchange for a lesser sentence, would testify against Graham, and who was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Woody will receive a sentence of 20 to 40 years, and was released in 2020. Wonder what she's. I gotta look and see if I can find any update on her. Next, we have Faye and Ray Copeland. So in 1940, Ray Copeland would meet Faye, and the couple would later marry and have 6 children. In the mid 80s, the couple began dating and their form hands anywhere between in killing. Well, the couple would begin killing their farm hands anywhere between 5 and 12. The couple would be apprehended due to a tip from Crime Stoppers, which caused the police to go to their farm, and they would later find the bodies of several missing men and a quilt made from their clothes. The couple was found guilty and sentenced to death, but Ray died of natural causes in 1993 and Faye was paroled in 2002 before dying of natural causes 2 months later. So, number 13 into our series is Monique Oliver and Michael Fernier. I'm pretty sure I just butchered that name up, so I'll just go by his first name. AKA the Virgin Killers. In 1989, Monique and Michael married after the former began corresponding to each other, while the latter while still in prison. He was still in prison. Throughout the next decade, um, the couple kidnapped, abducted, and sexually assaulted and murdered between 8 to 12 girls and one unidentified man. In 2004, Olivier turned in Fournette a year after a failed abduction of a 13-year-old girl. In 2008, the couple was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Number 13 in our series is a little bit creepy, mainly because it's the children that get to me. I love true crime. I could talk about it all day, but when it comes to the children and animals, it's what gets to me. But anyway, so, this couple is Sarah and John Macon, aka the Baby Formers. In 1871, Sarah Jane and John Macon married each other and went on to have 10 children together. Sometime in the late 1880s, John lost his job, so he and Sarah became baby farmers, caring for illegitimate children in exchange for money. A precursor to the foster care, if you will, to number of infants. So in 1893, the Macons were found guilty of murdering 18-month-old Horace Moray. But after a further investigation, police discovered the corpse of at least 12 infant babies on the property who the police believed Macon collected payment after their deaths. So John Macon was sentenced to death and hanged in 1893, while Sarah was sentenced to life in prison but was paroled in 1911. When did she have any descendants? And number 14 in this episode. This is in death. Okay, I'm gonna butcher this up, so please understand I am trying. Is Butcher Tavadiva, we'll call her Inessa, and Roman Polkoveg, has to be Russian. They both, I think. Either Russian or Ukrainian. Someone help me out if you know what I'm talking about. AKA the Gang of Amazons. So Inessa and her second husband Roman and her daughters Victoria and Anastasia are a family of serial killers. In 2013, the family was apprehended and it was discovered that they killed at least 30 people and stole thousands of dollars. Upon searching their home, police found 20 firearms where Roman was Roman was killed by a police shootout, but Inessa, Victoria, and Anastasia were sentenced to 16 to 21 years in prison for their crimes. So not only were they a couple that killed together, but they were a family that killed together. Interesting. Alright, guys, I will try to get part 3 up here soon. Please know that I am in school, I do work, so it might take me a little bit longer. But in the meantime, you can also go check out my other episodes, in my podcast as well. But I will see y'all next time. Number 13 in our series is a little bit creepy, mainly because it's the children that get to me. I love true crime. I could talk about it all day, but when it comes to the children and animals, it's what gets to me. But anyway, so, this couple is Sarah and John Macon, aka the Baby Formers. In 1871, Sarah Jane and John Macon married each other and went on to have 10 children together. Sometime in the late 1880s, John lost his job, so he and Sarah became baby farmers, caring for illegitimate children in exchange for money. A precursor to the foster care, if you will, to number of infants. So in 1893, the Macons were found guilty of murdering 18-month-old Horace Moray. But after a further investigation, police discovered the corpse of at least 12 infant babies on the property who the police believed Macon collected payment after their deaths. So John Macon was sentenced to death and hanged in 1893, while Sarah was sentenced to life in prison but was paroled in 1911. Wonder if she have any descendants.